Hello and welcome to episode 60 of the True to Life podcast. Today I'm joined by another SALF learner. That's what we've been calling us all week, SALF learners. And joined by Aubrey. She goes to Florida Southern University. College. It's okay. Well, Florida Southern College, where we're learning. Been here for 3 days. End of day 3 is tonight. She plays beach volleyball. I've interviewed someone that plays regular volleyball in the indoor, so I'm curious here what the differences are between the two and your experience here at SALF so far. But first, to dive in, what got you into beach volleyball? Take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Minnesota, and I go down to school in Florida, and what originally got me into it was I started playing indoor volleyball, and I've played since I was about 9 years old, and it's really common kind of to just get a lot of girls into volleyball. And I enjoyed my time playing, and then I ended up just through connections, and I met a coach who wanted to start his own beach volleyball club. And super uncommon because it's Minnesota and you only get about 3 months of like good weather. And he ended up starting his own club, and I was one of the very first people to join.
Oh, sweet.
And from there I got a bunch of connections through him with other colleges, and then I toured Florida Southern. I loved it. I love the people there, and the community is great. So yeah, and I would travel a lot for tournaments because obviously there's a very limited amount of time I can play. So I'd go in the winter time, I'd go play in tournaments down in California or Florida, and then I just met a lot of people and brought in my connections from there. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think is the biggest difference other than the actual turf that you're playing on? Because it's sand versus the hardwood. So what does the training look like? Like, what are the differences in practices and preparation?
So I might be a little biased because I do play beach, but I think you need a lot more endurance because so the key difference is that in indoor there's 6 players and in beach volleyball there's 2. And so I'm
already learning.
Yeah, so it's just you and your partner. And it's very mental. And so you do have to do a lot more mental preparation for it as well as physical because, one, you never know the conditions that you're going to be playing in. So I could one day be going into some really, like, thick, dense sand where it's like a quad workout, just like walking. And then another day I could just be witnessing a bunch of, like, a rainstorm or windstorm, and I'm going to have to deal with that all the time. So the differences between it is that you have to have it's a lot more conditioning in the sense that you also have to condition your mind as well as just your body, but I think it's great. I love it. Yeah.
So it's only 2 people, so that's an important distinction. Is there any other differences in terms of the scoring or just any other rule differences between the two?
Yeah, so for the rule standpoint, there's a little bit different rules. You're not allowed to, like, open hand tip. So I'm assuming you've seen indoor volleyball games. But
spiking it?
So, yeah, when you hit it, you can hit the ball and you can, like, tip the ball in indoor. But in beach volleyball, you're not allowed to open hand tip. And you have to, like, it's just like a closed knuckle kind of thing. And another key thing is in indoor, you want to go for a lot of power. A big thing is, like, you just want to hit the ball as hard as possible. But in beach, because there's only 2 people, you have a lot of open court, and so the big thing that you want to use is like shots. So it's a lot of like finesse rather than kind of just showing off and trying to like pound the ball. So a big thing of it is having like a good shot or something like that. And then from the score side of it, so in college we have 5 pairs that play, so 10 people play, and you put your top pair versus like another school's top pair, and then so on and so forth. And from there, you then have to win. Each pair has to win 3 out of 5 for us to win the whole match itself. So you can go like 5-0, 4-1, 3-2, and that's how you end up like winning it. So like I could go and win my game, and then the rest of my teams lose, but it's considered a loss in general. So it's a lot about trusting your team and having complete faith in knowing that my team's able to secure a win.
Yeah, because you only have the person next to you, and you don't know what's going on with the other matches.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's much different.
Yeah.
Because I think one thing about volleyball, like not beach volleyball, is that the team, you can tell their team is very, very connected. Like the 6, like they always like touch up after each point. Everyone's standing on the sideline. Like it's very, very like they're very connected to one another.
Sure.
So how do you still stay connected with your teammates even though you're not around them as much because it's just your pair? Like, do you guys go and support and like watch each other when you're not playing? Like, what does that look like? Or do you guys all compete at the same time? Like, how does it work?
Right. So what usually happens is that you'll go evens then odds. So your 2s and 4s will play, and then your 1, 3, 5s will play, and everyone's always supporting. So it's honestly frustrating because I love everyone on my team and I want to be there. Like, I can't be at multiple places at once. So I'm kind of like pacing back and forth along the courts trying to watch. So usually it's just like small groups of people will be supporting each court. And then on like the playing side of it, where it's just my partner and I, it's very, very intimate. So because it's literally just you and someone else. And it's like you're bound to make a mistake, and it's, as long as you have a good partner who's able to support you, that's super important. And especially like having a team, because I've been in many situations where I've been down and having a terrible game, and having a team that's able to support you on the sidelines, as well as a partner who's able to kind of understand how your brain is working in your thought process is so important.
So one thing that's coming to mind is how you have to be there for the person with you, and then also have this faith that the rest of them are picking up their slack. I think that would be hard, because I know for me with basketball, it's like I get to see everything that's going on, but not being able to necessarily know what's going on and just hoping that they're taking care of business. Like, you guys have to have a lot of trust in each other.
You do. It's a lot.
So what does the team bonding look like? What do you guys do to stay close and stay connected?
Yeah. So it's a lot of it is just in practices. It's really trying to support each other, whether that's like cheering each other on or making sure that we're hanging out outside of the sport itself, because we're so much more than athletes, and especially in a sport that is so mental, you really want to make sure that you're connecting with different people on the team. And so we'll do team bonding, but a really big part of it is getting to know people individually, because it's hard to kind of get to know people on a really personal level while in a big group setting. So I know me personally, I'll try to hang out with like people on my team individually. We'll go to dinner, we'll go for walks, we'll go work out, and you just get to understand people a lot more. And I feel like I've applied that to the game in the sense that I've gotten to know these people on a personal level, and then from there I get to understand, that's why they're kind of like this in a sense when they play. And I think it's great, because it's like it's like such an intimate sport where it's just literally you and someone else, and I get to be such a big factor in a team where it's like in indoor, it's like you and a bunch of other people where you're not as prominent kind of while
you're
playing.
The main focus, like when you're playing.
It's literally you and someone else. You're 50%. Yeah,
you're accountable for a lot more of what's going on.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorite questions I always ask student athletes is what are your tools to balance like your hectic and busy schedule?
Great question. I'm still trying to figure that out to this day. But something for me is that I struggled a lot last year with trying to balance my volleyball life and my social life. Because, so I'm a sophomore now, and it was my freshman year. And so having to go and come from where it's like, I just play for fun. This is all kind of just like new to me. Coming into a sport where everyone is so driven and so hardworking, and then that kind of consumed my life. And so I ended up going and seeing a sports psychologist.
That's a great move.
I loved it. It was great. I thought it was like, at first I was honestly like embarrassed, because it's hard as an athlete to be vulnerable. And kind of let your guard down, because I feel like a lot of the people I surround myself with are like super hardworking and have this like front of where they're just have it all together. And I just came into it and I did not have it all together. I would freak out any mistake I made. So I ended up going and seeing the sports psychologist, and because my sport is very different, where I make it's a game of mistakes, especially there being only two people, you're making a lot more mistakes. And I'm a perfectionist, so surprisingly, I kind of ended up in this sport that really didn't seem to be a fit for me, and I started to question my worth. And so I went to see him, and he was great. And he would tell me about how you are so much more than your sport. And it sounds so cliche, but it's so true, because I focus so much on myself and my own mistakes, where other people don't see me for my flaws, where I would like see myself for my flaws. And it was great because I needed someone to tell me that, because I needed like a professional in a sense to say that like you're so much more than just your sport, and you're not just a person of mistakes, and you have to take time to realize how far you've come and how like little people actually play a collegiate sport. Totally. And how much effort and work that goes into getting to where you are. And it's about looking back on your journey and not so much about, oh, I'm doing XYZ things wrong, but it's I've done XYZ things right to get me here. So, yeah. That's
such a good move to see a sports psych. I'm 100%. Lucky that our university has a sports psych department, and they come and work with our teams like once or twice a semester and help give us tools. And also with my school SAC, we host mental health workshops, and like they have stuff that we push out for all the student athletes to have those resources. I know not every university has that, but being able to talk with someone that specializes in sports psychology, what's going on in the mind, it's so important, and it's so overlooked. Yeah, that is very important. And would you see yourself going back? Do you feel like you have the tools you need right now, or do you feel like you're going to be? Are you still searching for more?
Oh, 100%. I do not have the tools at all right now. I can tell you that from a year from now, I hope to grow a lot more. And I can tell you that looking back how I was a year ago, I'm a completely changed person, because I've grown so much, and I've come to learn that it's at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. Like I am truly so much more than just a volleyball player, and I have so much more to offer. And just because I lose a game or I make a few mistakes or I get yelled at practice, that doesn't make me a bad person. So I'm still definitely trying to learn that, because obviously not every single day I think this way. And there are going to be days where I kind of beat myself up after practice. That's 100%. But no, I'm still working on it. I have a lot of growth to do, but I mean, I've learned a lot of tools from being here, so it's great.
That's a great segue. Talking about growth and learning.
100%.
We're here at a leadership conference in Dallas, Texas. What has been some of your biggest takeaways? What have you enjoyed this week? What are your thoughts? We're at ending day 3. Any takeaways? Anything you want to share?
I have loved it. So originally coming in, I was really nervous because I've never done something like this before, and I'm really scared of like strangers and meeting new people. And so originally coming into our group, I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to meet all these new people. They're kind of just throwing me out there, and I have to go and do these crazy things I would never expect to do. I'm on stage dancing in front of a bunch of people. This is really awkward. And it kind of like I needed to kind of have that done in a sense, because I needed to be put in an uncomfortable situation and kind of break down the walls that I put up, because I'm not used to being in such an uncomfortable position. But then if I wouldn't have done so, I wouldn't have gotten to know so many people on a personal level.
Totally.
And a huge takeaway that I've had is that so many people are going through the same thing. And it's great to be here and understand that people are facing these mental battles, especially athletes, of how truly mental their sport is, and how it's really hard to balance the student athlete lifestyle. And I've picked up a lot of tools of how to communicate, how I can be a leader, how being vulnerable is actually a good thing, and how you should be wearing your heart on your sleeve. It's great.
So what do you think you're going to what's like one thing that you think you're going to take back and apply to like we did in the workshop earlier today, like what's the one thing that you're going to take back to either your teams or to take with you like when you go back home?
Yeah. So the one thing that I think I'll definitely be taking back is like wearing my emotions more on my sleeve, because I try to kind of put on this front where it's like I don't let things get to me and I need to like be this like rock for everyone else. But I've come to realize, like, from talking to people, when I've been more vulnerable, that's when I've gotten to grow more, and where I've been able to, like, truly get to understand people on a personal level. And so going back to Florida Southern, I think that if I'm able to be more honest with myself and with my peers and teammates and say, this is how I'm feeling and this is how XYZ makes me feel. That's where those conversations get started, those deep conversations where you're able to get to know people on a deeper level. And that's how like a unit is formed on a team. And it made me realize that not everyone has to be this like have this tough guy act on, and that I need to act a certain way because like that's how everyone else is acting, but deep down everyone else is facing the exact same battle as me.
That's good. When you're hearing that, I've definitely been there too. It's so real. Before I ask a final question, do you have any little closing thoughts or any shout outs that you want to get to anyone listening out there?
I would say is that everyone's always going through something, and that there are always people. You think that you're alone, but you're really not. And I've been in the same boat where I felt like no one is able to relate to me, and I've been going down really dark paths before from sports because it is really hard to balance this lifestyle and to still keep like working hard. And you will get burnt out and you will feel so drained some days, and you kind of question your worth. But like we learned from being here, it's you got to kind of keep those goals, and you got to just keep your eyes on the prize. And it's so hard some days just to like wake up and get out of bed and be like, I don't want to do 6 a.m. weights. I don't want to go to practice. But someone said something today where it's like, it may hurt right now, but regret will hurt.
Yeah, it's permanent.
More.
Regret is permanent.
It is, 100%.
Like the pain is temporary, but yeah, regret's going to be permanent.
Exactly.
Yeah, that hit.
And so I've learned that even though I want to just give up, sometimes I want to throw in the towel, that I really can't, because I know that down the line this will pay off. And going back to the mental health side is that there is definitely a lot of kind of stereotypes.
Totally.
In sports, and once you kind of understand that a lot of people are struggling and you find those resources, whether that's finding a community or that's finding someone you can vent to or having these like outlets, it gets a lot better. That's what I've learned personally.
Yeah, I mean, different sports you get put into different boxes. Like football, you might have to be. Some of the guys were talking about it earlier.
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh,
yeah. They got to put on this tough guy persona.
Yeah.
Or this, like every sport's so different, and you might get put in your box or categorized. But yeah, the one point that I'm really taking away from you in this episode is like that you're a person outside of the sport, and you're so much more than your sport.
100%.
And I think that's the message for student-athlete mental health and well-being, is remembering that yes, a lot of our time goes into our sports and our athletics, but we're a lot more than that.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so my final thought to you would be, do you have any questions for me before we close?
What was your biggest takeaway from this?
My biggest takeaway? I think was realizing how I can become a better leader, because I think I've thought about it for a long time, but I found it this week, and for me, it's going to be putting away my phone, putting away my technology when I'm around other people. Yeah. Because I think that it removes me from the ability to actually connect and build long-lasting connections and relationships with people.
100%.
So by realizing that, and I wrote it down, I charted my journey and did all that, which I'm really excited about going home, and now I get to implement those things. So I'm looking forward to that, getting back home, putting these new practices to use. And I was actually talking to Tommy about it, and he said, this all ties back into, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you have to be able to make those deep connections with people.
100%.
And in doing that, like, you got to put away the distractions and be present in the conversations that you're around.
100%. Yeah. Coming into it, I thought like, oh, I'm not going to meet anyone. I'm just going to make these surface level connections. And here I am like meeting you. And I've got to know so many people on such a personal level, and you truly get to see people's vulnerability. And I love our group, because our group is so vulnerable and they're so honest, and it's great to hear these completely different perspectives, and everyone is just built from these other like realities that they've faced, and everyone's gone through something that shaped them to be who they are, and it's great to see that applied here, and I've learned so much, and I can't wait to take it back to Florida Southern.
Amazing. 2 rapid fire questions. What's your go-to pregame meal?
My go-to pregame meal, I'm gotta say Chipotle or depending on where I'm at, kava. Have you ever had kava?
Yeah, I've had kava too.
So good.
And then what's your hype song to get you ready for a match?
Okay. Oh, I hate that question, but it's okay. Anything Morgan Wallen. I love Morgan Wallen. Love Drake. Yeah. Love it. But yeah, those are my two.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aubrey, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Beach volleyball, I learned a lot. So thank you for the time. I'm glad we got to do it after this busy day 3.
Right.
That is a wrap for episode 60. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. The number one way to grow a podcast is by sharing it. So if there's a friend, family, loved one out there, please remember to share the podcast. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much, and I'll be back here next time.